Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Diary of a Black Entrepreneur. I am Mary Elizabeth Taylor Jr. back with another video talking about my top 10 out of 10 do not recommend lock edition. Stay tuned as I get into this top 10 recommendations that I would not recommend. So, my first recommendation is I do not recommend that you get locks based on someone else's hair texture. You definitely want to focus on your own hair texture because even if you get locks based on someone else's texture, but they don't have the same genetics as you, then that too may affect the way that your hair will turn out with your locks. So, you definitely want to focus on your own hair texture when getting locks. And I do not recommend looking at inspiration pictures and being like, oh, this girl has a 4B pattern, I have 4C. So if I get locks, my ends are going to curl up just like hers because they will not. Trust me. To piggyback off of number one, number two is definitely not only knowing your hair texture, but knowing your hair history and your hair health. Because for me, I have alopecia. So definitely knowing my hair texture and type before getting locks was important because you want to focus on a size of your lock that reflects the best health for your hair. Otherwise, you will experience all these thinning that is really uncontrollable because it is just genetic and some things are just out of our control. We can do things to try to slow it down, but ultimately it's still going to happen. So definitely don't recommend getting locks if you do not know the health history of your body and your hair. All right, recommendation number three that I do not recommend is getting locks because someone said that you look good with locks. Do not do that because you can look good with locks and go get faux locks. You can look good with locks and go get crochet locks, but do not go and get locks and you are not ready to take care of it and put in the time and effort that it takes to keep up something like locks because they definitely require a lot of attention and care in order to maintain them if you want to associate goals around them, like the thickness, like the texture, etc. But definitely do not get locks because someone said, oh, you would look good with locks. You definitely want to get it for yourself. Do not recommend number four. I do not recommend dyeing your locks on the earlier transition or journey of your locks. So for me, I dyed my hair pretty early on into getting my locks. The first time it took, it wasn't that bad. It was the second time that really screwed me. But I would say wait until your locks have reached full maturity. So full maturity for most people are about that kind of 2 year, 3 year range, depending on your hair type. So I would definitely wait until your hair is mature and you will know because you'll wash it several times and you'll still return to the same texture of your lock. Your locks will not be unraveling at this point. They'll be pretty solid. You could put jewelry in it and the jewelry will get stuck in there pretty easily. So that's how you know that you've reached full maturity. But definitely do not do it sooner than that. Do not do it. Recommendation number four brings me around to recommendation number five. Do not bleach your locks. There are so many new and cool alternatives for putting color into your locks, like temporary dyes, things like this that you would get from like Party City or any kind of like hair store. There is the hair waxes that you can put in your hair that literally you can wash out in like 24 hours if you want to, or you can leave it in and just let it fade out. But definitely do not recommend bleaching your hair. The process is so harsh on your hair, even if you don't have locks. So definitely don't do it because it sort of gets in there and just starts breaking away and damaging our locks. And that's what we do not want to do in this process. So I definitely would not recommend bleaching your hair. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, but personally, I bleached mine and I will never do it again because it was so harsh and I'm still paying for it to this day. So, do not recommend. All right. My number six thing is try to refrain from styling your locks so quickly after you wash it. So typically when we do these like washes, we think, oh my gosh, we need to get rid of all this new growth and just put it right into a style. No, because the more retwisting you do, the more maintenance you're doing to your hair. It's just ruining its natural process. So you want to refrain from doing it so often. So I do not recommend styling your hair or retwisting it as often as you would want to. Just try your best to hold back. It'll pay off. All right, our number 7 is do not sleep without a hair cover. So lately, as I've been going to sleep, I have been using 2 different wraps over my head. So like definitely want to have like some kind of silk or satin bonnets or scarves that you are doing to wrap your hair, because most of us, if you are, I'm not gonna say normal folk, because normal folk are out here sleeping in silk and freaking lamb sheets or whatever you want to call it. But if you are like me and you still have cotton bedding, that will get stuck in your hair and will get your locks linty, and it will be so hard to remove that after a while. When you wash it, it doesn't come out. You literally have to pick at it like with a brush and get that out. So I definitely recommend wrapping your hair every night so that you can refrain from having to literally take a tweezer to your locks and pick everything out of it. All right, my number 8 thing is number 8. Wait, this one, 8. Definitely do not recommend using a lot of rubber bands or elastic bands in your hair. What they will do is they will get stuck and tangled around your lock. And then once they set in your lock, naturally our hair just wants to mold to everything that is around it. So it's going to start gradually just massaging that rubber band right into your hair, and then it's going to pull out your hair. You're going to lose a lot of that growth and a lot of that healthiness on your ends that you have worked so hard to keep. So definitely don't recommend using a lot of rubber bands and everything in your styling. Try to use the lock itself or like any kind of like pin, but temporarily though, because even that, you don't want that kind of stabbing through your locks to breaking away at the thickness of the lock. And my number 9, do not recommend not drinking enough water. Naturally, people think that just because you drink water on the inside, that you don't have to contribute to the water on the outside. Has it ever occurred to you how much water a tree might be getting? No. So you have to think about your body the same way. So just as much as that water is going into the roots, just like how you drink water and it's going into your body, into your bloodstream, into your muscles and joints and everything, your tissues, you also need to be watering your crown as well, because all of that works together. So I do not recommend neglecting to water your hair as well as your body. Everything that works on the inside works its way out to the outside. It is a cycle. Finally, our number 10 do not recommend is do not speak down to your hair. Think of your hair as a person. Your hair is very sensitive. It hears everything and it responds to it by giving you a hard time. So just think of it as if you talk about how you don't like your eyes, and then you might go blind. If you talk about how you don't like your lips, you might be a bad kisser. So I would say do not recommend talking bad about your hair. You want to speak it up, speak life into it, because you are all connected and it will act the way that you speak to it. If you act well to it, treat it nice, treat it with good intention, it will respond to that. Alrighty guys, that concludes this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and staying tuned on these 10 out of 10 do not recommends for your locks. Again, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I would love to have you subscribe so that you can be in tune with all the content that I will be putting out week to week. I want to thank you all who have been subscribed and have been rocking with me this entire time. Definitely keep leaving me comments, likes. I appreciate all of that feedback. The likes just let me know that you guys are in tune. The comments let me know that you are either feeling the content or you're not feeling the content. Either way, it is still strong feedback that I truly appreciate. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. I will see you next week. Bye.